Following breaking news tonight, a woman is dead after being stabbed at Lynn Heights Drive and Fairport Road north of Finch in Pickering. This is a live look because police are expected to give an update in moments. So we're standing by waiting for that update from police, potentially followed by remarks from the mayor at Pickering as well. So stand by. We've got more on that coming up. Yep. Police are coming out right now. So again, we're waiting for an update from them. Here they are about to deliver remarks. We know that they were still looking for a suspect, so we will listen in live to this update.
We're good. Good evening, and thanks again for waiting for us here. I'm here to provide an update on the murder of the elderly female that happened this afternoon in Pickering. We're announcing that we've arrested a 13-year-old male from Pickering, and he's been arrested by our tactical support unit without incident. I want to thank the members of our communities for sheltering in place and doing exactly what we asked them to do. At this point here, you can go freely about your day-to-day lives. I also want to thank our officers who brought a quick resolution to this horrible incident. I want to extend a special thanks to the Ontario Provincial Police and the Toronto Police Service and the City of Pickering for their support during this time. This resolution was made possible due to the number of resources we had available and is a reflection on the important partnerships we have with other public safety agencies. So at this point, we're lifting the public safety shelter in place, and there's no longer a danger to the public. And again, I want to express my deepest condolences to the family of the deceased female, where our service will be providing her support, all of the family support for the foreseeable future. Sorry? The investigators are doing that right now. I wanted to come out here and announce that there was no longer a public safety risk and that the public could go about their business. There will be a further release that will list all the charges, and as you can appreciate, that investigation is just really started in earnest.
This was believed to be random. Any connection between this teenager and the senior woman victim?
Yeah, that forms part of our investigation at this point. There doesn't seem to be, but the investigation will reveal exactly what the relationship, if any, existed between the victim and who we allege to be the perpetrator.
Any more information you can provide on how he was brought into custody, how far he got?
I'm not going to get into the details of the arrest. The investigation is in its infancy at this point, and that may form part of the evidence.
Can you speak on the concern of this being such a young suspect?
I think anytime one human being takes the life of another, it's a concern. Should be a concern to all of us. There's an allegation that has been made at this point here involving a very young person, and I'm going to let the courts make the final determination in terms of culpability, if any. That again is part of the investigation, and I haven't received any information. Yes, sir. That's correct. I don't have the age of the victim with me right now. Yes. I appreciate you hanging around, and I appreciate your assistance in this matter. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. Hello? And we just got an update from Durham Regional Police there. They have a suspect in custody, and that suspect that we're learning is a 13-year-old boy. That is all the information that they're giving us right now. They said earlier that this was a random attack, a senior woman who was killed when she was outside her home. And the latest update that we got was that, Steve, this was just a 13-year-old male. I think that took us all by surprise there.
Yeah, and again, you could see by Chief Moreira's demeanor that he himself was shocked to release that information that it was a 13-year-old who's now accused of murder. So first or second would be the options. What separates the two is planning and deliberation. So if there is no evidence of planning and deliberation, most likely we'll see a second-degree murder charge laid.
And that shelter in place has been lifted. He has said there is no risk to public safety. Tell us about that move, now that they have a suspect in place and things can slowly begin to return back to normal for residents.
Very rare move for something like that to occur because you are impeding the movements of your law-abiding citizens in the communities. But it was a move that was necessary to ensure the safety of the public until such time that they identified this young person. Now, important, the chief may not have a lot of detailed information because the arrest was just made. His main purpose was coming out to let the community know that they can go about their day-to-day lives now and that the community centers and the shelters will all be opened up. And because the person was 13, he is very restricted on what information, if any, he could provide, even as to perhaps even the location of the arrest. And that's because you do not want to give, or you're prohibited by law in giving anything that may identify who this 13-year-old is.
Yeah, and we did ask the police chief, where this boy was arrested, how long did it take? Those were details that he couldn't share. I guess moving forward, as we're hoping for an update from police in the days and weeks to come, how does the age of the suspect restrict things?
Well, it's incredibly restrictive when it comes to releasing information. They can conduct their criminal investigation like they would with any other person charged with a crime. The only difference would be if they're going to take a statement from a 13-year-old, there is a huge list of things that the police must ensure takes place before the police interview a 13-year-old. And they, most importantly, would include that the 13-year-old have with them a guardian or a parent or somebody, another adult that they want present during that interview. That process is very difficult. The investigation, it remains the same, but information that's released to the public is little to none because the spirit of the Youth Criminal Justice Act is to not identify the young person or identify anything that may indirectly identify that young person. And the spirit of the act, again, is that you do not want, as crazy as this might sound, the law says that you do not want the identity of a young person that's made now affecting their future years down the road, murder or no murder.
Yeah, certainly a very complex case for police. What advice do you have for the community this hour? The shelter in place has been lifted. Community centers are reopening, but of course, folks are really on edge.
Yeah, well, the chief has said that there is no further threat to public safety. They have a young person in custody now. Most likely will not get out of custody with regards to a bail. I'm sure there will be some sort of way down the road now, some sort of assessment done to see if this a young man was suffering from any sort of a crisis at all. But as far as community safety goes, people can go back to their day-to-day lives.
And just a quick summary of what had happened here was around 3 o'clock when police got that update of a senior woman who was stabbed outside her home. An alert went out around 5:45, and just about 10 minutes ago, we got that update from police that a 13-year-old boy has been arrested in connection to this case. Lindsay?
Yeah, just tragic. And of course, police saying now this order has been lifted, as you both mentioned, and so people can return to their daily lives, no longer a threat to public safety. But again, such a tragic incident here. An elderly woman has lost her life outside her home today. That's CP24's C. Jalou and crime analyst Steve Ryan bringing us the latest. Thanks so much, you two.